إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله سبحانه وتعالى وخير الهدى هدى نبينا محمد بن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. This past week there was another episode of the Dispatches program and their consistent attempts to demonize the Muslims, although many of the normal Muslims like yourselves are doing our best to try to be people who give this society that which will benefit it as a result of our religion. So the Dispatches program is a non-ethical program. It does nothing but seek to sensationalize and to misinform the general public about Islam and Muslims. But nonetheless, the Muslims are here to stay, and we're not going to apologize for anyone, and we hope that those masajid and those leaders who speak on behalf of the Muslims, that they speak with clarity based upon the deen and without any fear. This Dispatches program, brothers and sisters in Islam, that most of us saw, many of us saw it in disgust. We still can walk away from it with a number of benefits. And one of those benefits is a word that I want to bring to your attention because we fall into it. And that is the Arabic word known as shamata. Shamata. It's in the family of disgraceful words and disgraceful characteristics that are hated by Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's in the family of ghiba and namima and kadhib. It's in that family. Bad characteristic. Shamata. Add that to your Islamic vocabulary. Shamata means when a Muslim sees that another Muslim has been affected by something evil or negative, he becomes happy. That's shamata. He loses his job, so you get happy because he lost his job. She lost her baby, so you become happy. They got divorced, so you become happy. When a musibah hits another Muslim, shamata is the happiness and the joy that you derive as a result of that issue. When the first Dispatches was put on, in which half of the program focused on this masjid, undercover footage of this masjid, there were certain masajid around this city and other than the city, they were happy. Muslims were happy, as if they didn't realize that these people don't intend to destroy a masjid of Ahlul Hadith. They don't care. Ahlul Hadith, Deobandi, Brewi, they don't care about that. Their issue, they don't make those distinctions. Their issue is al-Islam and the Muslims. So there were those people who were happy. They had shamata. And this shamata is a big mushkila. Whether it's this program or other than this program. Some people were very happy. Masjids. Some of the masajid, some of the people, they come from that masjid that was targeted in the last program of Dispatches. There is a hadith that was collected by Imam at-Tirmidhi, in which the companion Wa'il radiyallahu anhu was reported to have said that the Prophet said sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, لا تظهر الشمات لأخيك فيرحمه الله ويبتليك. Do not show happiness, shamata, towards your brother, and then Allah has mercy upon him, and then He tries you. This hadith is not authentic. I seek refuge in Allah from having a religion and a minhaj where I get before the people and say the Prophet said this, Prophet said that, and it's just a weak hadith. It's not an authentic hadith. It is weak in terms of the chain of narration. But the meaning of the hadith is true. The meaning is established with other ayahs of the Quran and other hadith, that when a Muslim is overwhelmed and overcome and visited by a musibah, for you to be happy about that, there's something wrong with you. That is the characteristic of the munafiqeen. Put on the side this program for 1 minute and look at the people who are close to us who lost their jobs, they took a fall, they got a divorce, something happened, and because we have some beef with them, a problem with them, we get happy at that. That's shamata. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in the Quran, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُحِبُّونَ أَن تَشِيعَ الْفَاحِشَةُ فِي الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. Those people who love for evil to spread amongst the Muslims, they love fahisha and evil to spread. When it happens, they get happy. Then let them know that they will get a grievous punishment in the dunya and in the hereafter, because that's from the characteristics of the munafiqeen. So the people have shamata. As it relates to our ummah, us, we have to understand, ikhwani, these musa'ib, these musibas, when they hit you, hit me, hit them, hit us, we should know that there are a lot of benefits from these musibas. A lot. Allah Ta'ala can try you or me or them with a musibah because it's a punishment for something you did. So Allah gives you the musibah as an adhab and an uquba, because what you did, He punished you. Allah Azza wa Jalla can also give a person a fitna and a musibah as a kafara to clean him up. So the thing that you're going through, you lost your job, you lost your child, something that happened, this thing that happened, first dispatcher, this dispatcher, it can be a kafara from Allah. Things are brought to your attention. Hey, you said that thing that wasn't correct. You better come back and rectify it for yourself before you meet Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah. So you say, that thing that I mentioned, that joke was inappropriate. Freeing yourself from that is benefit, kafara. Another benefit of the musibah is that Allah Ta'ala raises people in darajat through their musa'ib. You get raised. That problem that you're dealing with, Allah Ta'ala can raise you up as a result of it. The person doesn't know, but Allah knows. He told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inna ashadda an-nasi ibtila'an al-anbiya. The prophets, they get the most fitnas, the most trials and tribulations. Why? Every trial and tribulation that they get raised higher and higher in the dunya, and it's going to determine their place Yawm al-Qiyamah. So there's always benefit in the musibah, always. So we have to figure out where's the benefit. The dispatches that focused on our masjid, there were a lot of benefits in it. A lot. The first khutbah that was given after that, dispatches, we broke a record for how much money we gave for sadaqah in this masjid when the people were told, hey, these people are trying to shut us down. Show yourself, show your children, show Allah, show everybody that we're serious about our deen and we're here to stay, inshallah. People gave a lot of money as a sign and an indication that yes, we're sensitive to how Al-Islam is being portrayed. Although we're not perfect, all of us make mistakes, a lot of benefit. And this issue that happened, they had to close that school down of that masjid for this week. There was benefit in that with some of the kids. The kids say, okay, we have 2 extra weeks of no school. But that benefit is qasir, it's short. That's not a real benefit. But to the kids, that's how they look. The kids in that madrasa didn't go to school all this week, and this following week there's a ijaza. They say, oh, there's some benefit. We don't know what the benefit is going to be. We don't know if it's uquba to them, adab to them. But the point that I want to make is, we don't have shamata for them. When I became a Muslim like many of you, I looked at the different groups in Al-Islam. And from the groups is that group over there. The Deobandis and the Brahwis. They constitute the majority of the Muslims in this country. They constitute the majority of the masajid in this country. I read vigorously about Brahwism and Deobandism. and I was sure I don't want to meet Allah. I don't want to meet Allah believing in that, because in my opinion, me standing before Allah, that is not the correct aqidah that's in the Quran and the Sunnah that they believe in, Deobandis and Brahwis. I'm not saying they're in the hellfire, nor I'm saying to you, let's fight and kill them. I'm not saying that. I'm making a point. The fact that they're Brahwis or Deobandis doesn't make me happy that they targeted their masjid, because I know that the non-Muslims, they don't care. They don't make those distinctions. Al-Hadith, Brahwi, Deobandi, they want al-Islam and they want the Muslims. That's the point here. That's the point here. So the fact that I don't agree with those people and the way they accept Islam, and we see that they're always making talks and they're always giving something and having something to say about the khutbahs that we give. They're sheikhs. We don't find them talking when the dunya talks about let's burn the Quran day. We don't hear any talks. When the dunya talks about let's draw Muhammad, we don't hear any talks from those sheikhs. When they come and they curse the companions on the day of Ashura, we don't hear anything from those sheikhs. When the dispatchers program targets their masjid, you're not going to hear anything from those sheikhs. But say something about Imam Abu Hanifa, our Imam. Say something truthful about him that they don't like, that shows you shouldn't have ghulu, then you'll hear a lot of kalam. That's one of the reasons I'm not on that stuff. But the point is, your Brahwiism and Deobandism that I don't agree with, it's not going to make me have shamata, because I see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, they're after all of us. All of us. Which brings me to the next point about that program. It is amazing. After the first dispatches, after all of this time, that these people are still trying to change our religion. How they make so much effort. For an example, a small example, and we better wake up and pay attention to these issues. They don't want us using simple words like kafir, kafir. And they want to change the meaning of the word so that the Muslim will become afraid and sensitive, politically correct. He doesn't use the word kafir. You're a kafir. One of the ignoramuses on the program who's on the fringes, he's on the extreme. If dispatches was sincere about trying to expose problems within our masjid and our schools, and there are problems, I'm totally in agreement with people not hitting our children. If someone were to hit your child in the school, something should be done about that. We're against that cultural way of teaching the Quran, making the child hate the Quran. The child is allowed to be hit because the Prophet said it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he becomes 10 years old and he doesn't pray. But still, in the Mother of Islam, they said, leave him some time. Don't hit him all the time. If you hit him all the time, at the age of 10, all you do is hit him. He's going to equate salat with adab. So leave him sometimes. Talk to him sometimes. Reward him sometimes. You have to be the parent who is going to give the approach that's going to bring the best out of that child, making salat love to him. We want to make it clear here. If they have problems with the word kafir, do you think they don't have problems with the way the Muslim woman is looked at and the way we view her? They consider us people who are backwards. So we say, I'm all for being liberal, all for being liberal. Liberal being a person who can adapt and change and accept differences. I'm all for that. There is liberalism in Islam in certain things. And then there's no liberalism at all in other things. In other things. I'm all for being conservative. But not in everything being conservative. This is the way that my mother and my father understood the deen, and this is how I'm going to understand it. I don't care what proofs you bring. La. We're conservative in we don't make shirk with Allah. And we don't accommodate mushrikeens. We don't make bid'ah. And we don't accommodate mubtadi'ah. There's no playing around in those issues. So for the record, ikhwani, in our deen, the word kafir, it is not equal to the N-word. The N-word, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to mention it, is the word nigger. The derogatory word and term that's used to describe black people. That word itself and the fact that they equate it with kafir shows the compounded ignorance of these people. And they have to know.
Nigger can be a word that's used in a derogatory word. White man says to me for no reason on the train or the bus, you nigger. It's offensive, out of place. Another white boy that I grew up with, I know him, he knows me, he says to me, what's up, my nigger? I'm not offended by that. So the word itself may be derogatory, may not be derogatory. Whereas kafir, on the other hand, it just simply describes the person who disbelieved in Allah. It's not a derogatory word. Not only is it not derogatory Ummatul Islam, but the Muslim can fall under the umbrella of this word. The meaning of the word and the root of the word, its meaning is in the Quran. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in Surah Al-Hadid, اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد كمثل غيث أعجب الكفار نبته. That's the word kafir in the Quran. Allah said, you people have to know that the hayat of the dunya, it is nothing but playing around. It's nothing but amusement. It's nothing but enjoyment and allurement. It's nothing but your mutual bragging, who you are, where you come from, who's the best. It's nothing but your mutual accumulation of wealth and having children. The hayat of the dunya is like the rain that comes down. It hits the ground. The vegetation grows forth. And the kuffar, the farmers who planted the seeds, they become happy. Allah called every farmer, Muslim, non-Muslim, kuffar. They become happy. And then the dunya, and then that vegetation withers away. It becomes yellow and it goes away. That's the example of the dunya. It's here and then it's gone. That's the point. Allah used the word kuffar to describe the farmers. Prophet in Sahih Bukhari sallallahu alaihi wasallam told his companions, "La tarja'u ba'di kuffara." يَضْرِبُ بَعْضُكُمْ أَعْنَاقَ بَعْض. Don't become kuffar after me. He told Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali and the rest of the companions. Don't become kuffar after me. How? By striking each other's necks, fighting with each other. So when the Muslim fights another Muslim, a Muslim fights another Muslim, that is kufrun billahi. But it's the kufr that doesn't take him outside of the religion. The Prophet told Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, La tarja'u ba'di kuffara. He said that to the Muslims. Don't become kuffar after me. The one who fights another Muslim, that's an action of kufr. But he doesn't go outside of the deen. So this terminology, ikhwani, is not all about the word kafir. It's about these problems. These people have a problem with our deen. They have a problem with our deen. And if we're going to be people who want to continue to be those who apologize for our religion, then we're going to apologize from now until Yawm al-Qiyamah. The people are not going to be happy with our deen. And we find it disturbing and distressing. But it shows us the reality of the Dispatches program. The reality of the program is that not every politician and not every non-Muslim in this country is like the Dispatches people. But Dispatches has a lot of people who think that way, and they help to foster that understanding. Dispatches does, because they are a reflection of some of the highest politicians in this country, what they say and think. As the big one from amongst them, and we need to know this, gives us an indication they're not playing around with us. One of the biggest politicians in this country last week gave a talk directed at the Muslims, called us out by our name on the same day where the EDL are protesting. Protesting for what? For their conservative nature. Keep Britain all white. We don't want any multiculturalism in Britain. We're against what the government perceives as being bona fide culturalism, multiculturalism. That's what they want. The man came out on that day, out of all days, targeted the Muslims and told us we better get with the program. We better open up our masajid and we better become people who buy into multiculturalism. Meaning, when the school takes our children to the synagogue and to the temple of the Sikhs and the Hindus, you have to allow it and you have to be okay with that, because your child should be exposed to that. When the Jews of London and other than London, when they hold on to their unique, distinct, characteristics that identify them. The hat, the curls, the black coat, their religion, what they're doing in the synagogue. They don't get all of this pressure. They don't get exposed. You think that the rabbi in the synagogue of the Yahud are telling the people, love the Palestinians, love the Palestinians? Forget that. You can't hate and you can't show that in public. Do you think he's saying, come on, let's just mix and be like everyone else and apologize for our religion? And the Muslims are going to turn around and we're going to apologize? No, we're going to say to non-Muslims, we don't accept shirkun billah. We accept Allah as being the sole authority. Whenever something in this dunya goes against the Quran and the Sunnah, we're going to reject it. But multiculturalism doesn't go against the Quran and the Sunnah. The proof of that is just looking into this audience. So we can't fall into these games, how they twist their tongues and play tricks with us. Our religion is a religion of multiculturalism. The believers are brothers. And look at the different colors and ethnic groups of the believers. Which brings me to another point about this program. You know the lady who did that undercover program? She seems to be a Muslim. She has a Muslim name. Allah knows what her religion is. I'm not saying she's a kafir or not. I don't know. Some of the people who spoke in the program, who said that the word kafir is equivalent to the N-word. Some of these people, the same man who brags in public that he has married over 20 Muslim women to non-Muslim men, he brags about that. One of the lessons of this program is that your children and my children, they could become those people tomorrow. Your child can be the child who comes to the masjid to try to destroy the Muslims and Islam. If we just send our children out of that door to school, public school, out in the streets, and we are not supervising them, and we're not doing something about teaching them the religion, the Quran and the Sunnah, the way those companions understood it, radiyallahu anhum, who knows what the future holds for that child, inshallah. That lady came from some parents. That lady has a background. That lady has a background. So as we mentioned a number of times, and I repeat here, the statement of the Khalil of Allah, Ibrahim, the Khalil of Allah, one of the 5 major messengers in Islam, Ibrahim, the one who was an ummah all by himself, Ibrahim, the one who gave dawah to all of those people and was put in the fire, Ibrahim. Ibrahim is not a regular man, just a regular person. He's not even a regular Nabi, Rasul. He said in the Quran, as Allah mentioned, وَجْنُبْنِي وَبَنِيَّ أَن نَعْبُدُ الْأَصْنَامِ رَبِّي إِنَّهُنَّ أَضْلَلْنَ كَثِيرًا مِنَ النَّاسِ. Oh my Lord, save me and save my children from worshiping idols. Oh my Lord, those idols have sent many people astray. If Ibrahim made dua for himself about worshiping idols, and he is who he is, and he made dua for his children, then what are we doing? Because your child has a thobe and he came to Jummah, because you have a beard and hijab and you're practicing and you read the Quran, do you feel safe and secure that your child in this place is not going to lose his deen? Ibrahim, the Khalil of Allah, the father has to be connected, the mother has to be connected. First connected to their deen, connected to each other, connected to those children. So that your child in the future won't become one of those people who, again, he's part of the expose in a negative way against what, trying to harm the Muslims and al-Islam, trying to shut down masajid, shutting the school down. One of the things that I heard, Allah knows best, is that the people shut the school down because some people were calling, giving death threats. So they wanted to be safe. Allah knows best. Allah knows best. Muslims had something to do with that. Muslims who helped them to put the program across. So before I sit down, I want to make it unequivocally clear, inshallah. I saw some benefit in that program. I'm not one of those people who, I'm just saying they're against us, they're against us. I am totally, absolutely predisposed to the traditional way of teaching the Quran, which is hitting the child upside the head. That's not called for. But we know. You're my brother in al-Islam. You're my brother. That's my sister in al-Islam. My child is reading the Quran, and you come behind my child and you kick my child like this. You say, come on, do your work. You just do like this. Come on, do your work. I don't take offense to that. I don't take offense to that. Because you as a teacher, you as a Muslim, you have a higher level of affection between you and me. That's what Islam has made. إِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كَالْجَسَدِ الْوَاحِدِ. The believers are like one body. When something hits them, it hits us. You're going to look at my child the way I look at yours. You come to my child and say, come on man, do your work. I don't take offense to that. As they showed on the program, the man didn't kick the boy's head off. But there were footages of children being hit and attacked by other teachers. As for the children fight amongst themselves, what, that's only in the Muslim schools? That's only in the madrasa? That's only in the Muslim school? No, you go to the non-Muslim schools and you'll find them carrying guns, and you'll find them carrying knives, and you'll find them carrying drugs, and you'll find them doing other than that. Where are the exposés if they're so serious about child protection? So we make it clear, we are not for hurting children and all of that, and we won't make excuses. Just like the first dispatches, that joke that I made about the homosexual dentist was inappropriate, and I free myself of that, and we learned from that. The truth is the truth. But overall, that was a weak attempt to show the people that our religion is some religion of crazy people who are not tolerant. We don't know what we're doing. When people get caught doing the wrong thing, Muslims, then that is attributed to those individuals. As for our deen, when things are being misinterpreted and misconstrued in our deen, then we're not going to apologize about that. The woman should be covered up. Everything should be covered up. We're not with homosexuality. We're not with homosexuality. That's our religion. We're not with a sheikh billah. We're not with innovations. No, I'm not going to allow my child to go to the Sikh temple on this particular day. I'm going to go and do something else with him. That's what I have a right as a parent to exercise that right. Just like those parents have the right not to send them to the masjid when they come to the masjid. I'll teach my child if I want him to know about what Christian Jews think. I'll teach him that myself. I don't need the teacher to teach him that. When they want to teach our children about sex education, you have a right, I have a right to say something about it. What are you talking about? We're citizens, we just have to sit here and listen to what you're saying. What are you talking about? Why do you think I'm a parent in the first place? And when we know our rights like this, we won't get the issues and the messages mixed up. Multiculturalism means we have to embrace and accept what Allah made haram, what the Prophet made haram, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى الثبات والتوفيق. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Ikhwani, the time is passing by. The time is passing by. We look at our children, and from the time that they were born until today, what happened to all of those years? In our own lives, where did all of this time go? Where is the time going? Something has to be done on a community, from our community, on a level where we start to do a better job about what's going on around us. People are saying things about us, to us, saying things in regards and in relationship to us, and our community does not have a clue. And because of the silence of the people who know, the people who are balanced, the people in the middle, because of the silence and the indifference that this group has, the people on the fringes, they take over. You have the one group who want to blow everything up, those kind of radicals. You have that group, they use them as fodder to misrepresent the religion. Then we have the other extreme, the apologists, who in actuality seem like they just want a paycheck and a destruction at the cause of destroying the Muslims. That's what it appears. People in the middle, mainstream Muslims, need to do more. Our leadership needs to do more. The time has come where the cultural, traditional Islam from where we come from in Africa, in the Arab world, in Pakistan, in India, in these places, we have to leave that stuff back there. We're in the UK now, and it is a different beast that we're dealing with now. It's a different beast. So we have to push our leadership to do more, and we have to engage in the process as well, and stop being the Muslims who just come for Jummah and that's it. Your suggestions, your resources, your particular way of what you're involved in, your profession, it can help the Muslims. You have to bring your piece of the puzzle to the table. Men and women, everyone has a responsibility to protect this religion from those people who are trying to attack it from without and especially from within. You have relatives who are deviant. You have relatives who are confused. You have relatives, the way they think, that thinking is counterproductive for what's best for Muslims and Islam. You have a responsibility to do something about that. So that's what the call is today. Don't look at the dispatches program as just being simply a program. They're against us. They're against us. It's conspiracy time, conspiracy time. It's more than that. That's part of it. But the other part of it is, from the benefit of dispatches, if you know what your enemy is saying and thinking and how he looks at you, then you have been equipped. You're not sleeping. He's not your friend. You thought he was your friend. He's stabbing your back. You know where they stand. And I respect them for that they don't apologize. So let us do a better job, inshallah ta'ala, representing our religion. Wallahi, what the Prophet had to go through politically, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was far more complicated than what we're doing right now. But he was able to navigate through it because the purity of his religion, the purity of his understanding, the purity of the people who are with him. So we have that blueprint. It's just an issue of buying into the importance of getting back to it. And may Allah Azza wa Jal forgive all of us. May Allah Azza wa Jal not make me the cause of these fitn. Maybe it's because of me, individually. All of this fitna. Dispatches here, dispatches here. I can be the cause of that. Egypt, Kashmir, all of these issues can be because of me. Not because of Husni Mubarak or other than Usmi Mubarak. Because of me. Why am I going to focus on Husni Mubarak? And I know my situation. I know my situation. You know your situation. So we have to ask Allah Ta'ala in this blessed day to have mercy upon us and to give the strength back to the Muslims. The strength of the correct aqeedah and what it brings. The strength of being the ansar of the sunnah and what that brings. Divine protection from Allah. Divine protection. We may get hit, we may die, we may lose, but ultimately the victory is going to be with us. But if we relinquish this Quran, this Sunnah, we're going to be in trouble. And in addition to that, we're going to be in a confused state. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal not to make us a fitna for those who believe and for those who disbelieve, but to establish our feet firmly upon the kalimah of Tawheed. Aqim as-salat yarhamakumullah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la